Alright nerds, so in this one we're going to talk about the circulatory system, also known as the cardiovascular system, and this is basically how we get anything that we get into our body that we need to spread around our body goes via the circulatory system. Hence, well that's what it means to circulate. So this is how we travel anything around our body, whether it's food, waste, oxygen, etc. Okay, so what's the point? You basically want to be able to explain the function of the organs within the circulatory system. Here is a little animation of the key organ, or the organ we'll think of as the key organ, and that is the heart. So what do you need to remember? Basically, all cells require nutrients and gases, okay? They also require their waste products to be removed. So let's have a quick look. Circulatory system. Basically, it's an organ system that allows blood to transport nutrients around the body. So this is like amino acids, electrolytes, oxygens, carbon dioxide, hormones, blood cells, and it takes these basically to every single cell within the body. These provide nutrition, they help to fight disease by carrying the agents of the immune system around. They stabilize temperature and pH, which is homeostasis. This means maintaining the internal conditions of the body. All right, so now the heart, the blood vessels, and the blood. There are three types of blood vessels we're going to look at. We're not going to look at them today. We'll look at those more in class. They make up the circulatory system. These service all of the cells in the body. Actually, we will look at two. Very quickly, you have veins. Now, you have veins and you have arteries. A good way to remember this is that veins go away from the heart. Okay, so sorry, arteries go away. So it's A equals away. So if it's an artery, it's going away from the heart. If it's a vein, it's going into the heart. Then you've also got capillaries, which are the little ones, and they take it to the individual groups of cells, whereas the arteries take it and veins take it to and from just large, big areas, and then it's distributed out from that. So wastes are taken away and exchanged with oxygen and food nutrients. I was going to get rid of all that ink. Basically, the common problems include aneurysm, atherosclerosis, which is a buildup of fatty tissue on the inside of the veins or the arteries, heart disease, high blood pressure, which can actually be a symptom of atherosclerosis, and varicose veins, which are blockages. Alright, so here's the circulation to start off with. We have the heart here in the center. It's a good place to start. We use blue to represent deoxygenated blood and red to represent oxygenated blood, so blood with oxygen in it. You'll often hear a rumor that, you know, there actually is blue blood in people. So blood that's going towards the lungs, if you cut them in the right place, people will bleed blue. This is a really common urban legend, but it's not even close to true. There's no such thing as blue blood in humans. Now, alright, so you can see here it's an artery, which means away. So we'll start with the oxygenated blood. So it goes via the lungs and gets oxygen, transferred into the blood. This gets pumped down into the atrium, which then pushes down through the ventricle, up, out through the aorta, and into the body. Okay, this is left according to the person who has the heart. So if it's your heart, it's on your left, and that's why for us it's on the right. So it goes pumped through the body, and then as it all gets used up, the oxygen gets used up, it starts to come out of the tissues. So this is just as it goes into muscle and everything else that it goes into. The blood comes out. The blood will be darker. It's not blue. It's not really black either, but it'll be darker because it doesn't have the oxygen in there. It enters the atrium here, into the ventricle and then back out to the pulmonary artery. Pulmonary means lung, so artery away, so away from the heart into the lungs, where it gets all of its oxygen again, and then it goes into the pulmonary lungs vein, so in, it's V, so there you go, it's got in on the back of it. So pulmonary vein goes back into the heart and it goes up around again. And you'll see that this actually is a valve. We'll have a closer look at that in a second. And the valve means that the blood flow can only go one way. So let's have a quick look. First off, our blood, oxygen poor blood starts in the right atrium. Okay, it then moves into the right ventricle, and by doing this, it goes through a valve. We'll have a look at that in a second. And then it goes into the lungs, where it picks up a whole bunch of oxygen. Okay, it then goes from there into the left atrium, so that's the pulmonary vein right there, into the left atrium, through the ventricle, then back out through the aorta, where it enters the body, or the rest of the body. Now, this here, well, it's easier to see on this one over here. So you see how it's shaped up like that? If the blood tries to flow the other way, it will cause these two flaps to pull in over each other and block it up. And that's why it's a valve. They're actually attached with tendons to the wall, and that stops them from opening too fast. So, once they get there, from spinning further past. So that's your valves. They're pretty important. That's your heart. So our next video will be about blood and the components of blood, but we're going to spend some time looking at hearts in class. See you there.